have to go through trials and tribulation. It is only through trials and tribulations that we will be perfected, that we will reflect Jesus Christ in thought, in deeds, in words, in action. Only. There is no other way. If you plan to make it to glory, you have to go through trials and tribulation. Why? This is what will perfect us. Or trials and tribulation, the text says fiery trials. And as we think about fire, and we think about things like gold or even diamond, they have to go through the fiery trial. Or rather, they have to go through the purification process, which involves fire at extreme temperature. Count it but all joy. The text says, rejoice inasmuch as ye are counted as partakers of Christ's suffering. You will go through persecution as long as you bear the name of a Christian. It says, verse 16, yet if any man suffer as a Christian, that's what the text says, verse 16, if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify God on this behalf. And verse 13, the first two words says, but rejoice. We will go through different circumstances, even more as we near the close of time and the beginning of eternity. I want us to read this text in John chapter 15. I'm going to read from verse 18 to 21. It says, if the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. Verse 19 says, if ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but Jesus says, I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hated you. Remember the word that I said unto you, verse 20, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. It says, if they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. Because they know not him that sent me. Jesus says, if they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. And in Matthew chapter 10, we are told that those who are your foes or enemies, 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 they will be those of your own household. The authorities in the United States, it says, and in other countries will rise up in their pride and their power. But it's only through trials, only through persecution. What are we going to do? Jesus sees something precious in us, and so he is putting us through the fiery trials. He is allowing us to go through the purification process. And so we will not murmur. We will count it all but joy. We're almost there, my beloved brethren. We're coming to that time when we will have to stand though the heavens fall. We will not be perturbed. We will not be fretful. We will count it all but joy to suffer for the cause of Christ. We are living in a time of uncertainty, but we are sure of one thing, that Jesus is coming again. We're also sure of one thing, that he is perfecting his church, even 144,000. And we're also sure of one more thing, church. That is the message in 1888 as the Sunday law was about to be passed, because God's people, God's church, had to get ready to reflect the character of Jesus. The message of righteousness by faith is the message for today, as we know a national Sunday law is about to be passed. And unlike 1888, this time it will not pull back. Jesus is coming again. And we have to get it right. And we can only get it right as we go through the fiery trials, as we go through trials and persecution. And so we must not murmur as the children of Israel. We must count it all but joy. But here's what the text says in Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 11, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but we will reprove them. We will reprove them. That is our duty, to reprove, to stand as watchmen on the walls of Zion. You know what is happening right now? This is the pullback. Look if you see that in my title. This is the pullback. What are you talking about? When Festus came on Jerusalem, and I've been preaching it, and present truth people who have called on, we have been preaching it, that Festus pulled back. And there was a moment of reprieve, and that allowed those who were following the prophecy to leave Jerusalem. Country living, country living, country living. Do not get comfortable. I told you before that COVID will not last forever. They came with this smoke screen to get their agenda, and it might just be they are achieving that and will achieve that this year. And then you will see, as COVID subsides, there will come a time of reprieve, and people will get comfortable, and people will get laid back, and people might say people like Lecky were just extremists. Here we are back to normal time. But I tell you this, after that, there will be no reprieve. Let us get our characters in line now. Let us not get comfortable in this moment of reprieve that is even beginning. Country living, country living. Aggressive evangelism, evangeliving. But let us not be disturbed. I want to give you a text to encourage you. John 14 verse 27. Peace I leave with you, it says. My peace, Jesus says, I give you unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. We are God's people. We will not be fearful or fretful. The pullback is beginning. We need to get ready. The character of Jesus is now. As a watchman, remember I told you, do not sit at ease. Remember I told you the reprieve was coming and it has begun. Remember I told you COVID will not be here forever, but it came as one of the last pre-tests. And so Jesus has to carry us through trials and persecutions and tribulations to get our character in line. Job 13 and verse 15, it says, though he slay me, what did Job say? Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. But I will maintain mine own ways before him. We are at the end, church. Christ is about to come again, and we have to press on. We will be tested, we will be tried, and the enemy is going to be within and without, but we have to remain focused. I want to encourage us with this final text. It says, Matthew 24 verse 13, it says, he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Join us again here, same time and same place. Keep faithful. Maranatha.